Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Biz Bash podcast. Today we have a super special guest with us. I am so excited, not only because her business name is Kitty Meow and I love cats, and I know it has nothing to do with cats, Catherine, but I just had to throw it out there, but also because she's an amazing business lady. We're going to learn so much from her today and how she's grown her business, both retail and wholesale. And if you're not familiar with Catherine Hildner from Kitty Meow, let me just tell you a little bit about her. Her business is all about sweet and sassy party and paper goods. So a little witty, a little sweet, basically for all your personalities. It's very fun. I love the way she's designed everything. And honestly, I would say this might be weird, Catherine, but I feel like your brand is very sexy. Like you're like the little black
yes,
paper
girl.
Yes, so very sexy brand, you guys. So we're going to be talking today about pivoting in your business and how to reach those big goals and all the things she's done to kind of get to where she is today with her stationery business. So Catherine, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Cami and Elizabeth, so much for having me. I am just so stoked to chat with you ladies about all things business and design and stationery and all the things.
Yes, all the things. Okay, so to kick everything off, I know I just kind of gave you an intro, but can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got started with Kitty Meow Boutique?
Yes. So the name Kitty Meow comes from an AOL Instant Messenger screen name that just states me. Maybe there's some young folk out there who's like, what's that? But I just had friends in college in my sorority house that would call me Kitty Meow all the time. And, my brand is sexy, but I am such a goofball, like kind of a nerd. So it's kind of this juxtaposition of dorky with sophistication. And, I went to school for design and then moved to Las Vegas from Chicago when I graduated and worked in nightlife advertising for a couple years. And it was such a cool place to be for my early 20s. And I learned a lot, did a lot of bad things. But yeah, I just really got to the point where I was tired of promoting nightclubs and photoshopping hot chicks on billboards and just the environment. And I really wanted to go off and work for myself. And I met my husband, and he worked, he still does work in insurance, where his job literally moved us around the country every 1 to 2 years. And I always had this passion and desire to work and make money. And I didn't want to not have a business that I could take with me wherever we were living. And then knowing that once we had children, I still wanted to work, but work at my own pace and my own schedule. So that's where Kitty Meow was born, mainly with invitations. Now I do focus more on my product line and a little bit more on education and just really experimenting, trying new things. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
I'm totally stalking you on Instagram right now. Like while you're giving your introduction, I'm like going through and like looking at how like cute all your stuff is. Cause I like looked at it before, but I always like going back and looking at it again. So where are you based right now? Cause you said you moved around a lot. So where are you currently?
We are back in Chicago, the Chicagoland area, which we lived all over the West Coast and it was so amazing. And I never thought that we'd be back here in Illinois, but I have 2 little girls and we wanted to be closer to family and all that good stuff. So we're back in the Midwest, the lovely Midwest.
And I feel like Cami was jumping in and saying something. So go ahead, Cami.
Oh, I was just going to ask, Catherine, did you start with invitations first for your business, or did you immediately start with a product line?
Yes. So I started willy-nilly, no game plan in sight, flying by the seat of my pants with invitations. Like nothing looked the same. I didn't have a style. I was just, if you asked me to design something, I would design it. And it's not like the designs were bad, but there was no cohesive look. You couldn't look at a portfolio of my work and think like, oh, the exact same person did all of these designs. And it took me way too long to get to that point. And a lot of ugly cries when someone told me just exactly that. And yeah, that's when I was like, oh, I'm so tired of doing all this custom work. It's so much time and energy that I just don't have anymore with being a newer mom. And that's when I wanted to focus on creating a product line that I could sell wholesale and retail and just design stuff that like I wanted to design, not design what everyone else wanted me to design.
Can you talk a little bit for our audience about what that transition looked like for you, especially because I know after doing invitations for like almost 4 years now, and you kind of build up this certain like following on Instagram and social and the way you're marketing your business. So what did that pivot look like when all of a sudden, or I shouldn't say all of a sudden, but when you made the decision that you wanted to go in that direction of doing greeting cards? Did you just kind of like drop everything else and go for it? Was it a smoother transition? Could you give us some insight into that?
Yeah, so I still do invitations. Obviously, with everything going on in the economy right now, people aren't exactly booking parties. So, but now I only design invitations that really fit my design aesthetic. But as far as the transition, I had went to a conference where I learned specifically about how to create a product line and take it wholesale. But literally a couple days after I got back from that, I ended up being pregnant. And my oldest daughter was not even a year old yet. And I don't know, something about me when I'm pregnant, I just like lose all the desire to do anything extra in life. But after my second daughter was born, that's when I really, I did special business coaching where I just really honed in on my brand and my brand voice. If you like look further back in the Kitty Meow Instagram, it is a hot mess express of just like, oh gosh, like, well, what is this woman posting? Who is she? We have no idea. But with doing that business coaching, I was really able to hone in on my brand voice, on my style. I took a copywriting course. I was just doing all of these things. I paid to have a new website design and just investing so much time and money in really perfecting my brand and making it something that I was really proud of. And with that came the greeting card collection. And then as I started selling wholesale and spinning my wheels, trying to get into retail stores, just designing more and more. And then it just, it snowballs into doing trade shows and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I want to get into all that fun stuff, but I want to rewind really quick because you have such a unique and distinctive like style aesthetic. Like everything I see from you, I can be like, oh yeah, that's Catherine's. Like it's so instant, like your typography style and like your brand voice, everything. That's something that a lot of designers really struggle with is like finding that style and like being true to it. Can you offer any insight for our audience on like how to define a style or like get in and get the ball rolling with figuring out what's unique about your brand?
Yeah, for sure. I consider you an artist. Like I don't consider myself an artist. And for a long time I struggled with like, I need to learn how to teach myself calligraphy, or I need to learn how to draw, or I need to do like all of these things that I know in my heart I am not, like those are not my strong points, but I am so passionate about cool typography and like just accepting that that is who I am and not trying to be all the other things, that I don't feel I'm good at. So my brand is very typography based, and I don't know, like now when I create designs, I'm just following that same formula. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I open up an existing design when I make a new design, and I'll try new things, see if people like it. But I don't know, like I'm just known for that kind of cool looking typography and not handwritten typography, like very much computer based using fonts. And, I'm not reinventing the wheel.
I love that you said that because I've said that to Cami too of like, I consider you an artist, but like, I don't necessarily look at myself like that. And we have this
there's
whole
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we have a whole entire episode about like artist versus entrepreneur and like how we view ourselves and what that looks like. And I think that is so great for our audience to hear that it was like, you kind of like surrendered that mentality of, no, I don't have to do it this way. I can do what I want to do. I can still make it true to me. And I'm going to like stay in my lane essentially. And I think that's really empowering because I think a lot of people in this space, especially when it comes to just like creating artwork, greeting cards, prints, whatever it is, can really get stuck in the having to do it a certain way mentality and often don't like embrace their strong points.
Absolutely. And it's so easy to look at what everyone else is doing and to think like, oh, they're doing it so much better than me and they're so much more talented. And I don't know. I think as whether you're an artist or a designer, because you're looking at your own work all the time, it doesn't feel as special to you, but it's so special, you know, to other people who are looking at it with fresh eyes for the first time, even for the millionth time. So I just know that we all need to be grateful for our strengths and know that we all do have our strengths. And again, like you said, stay in our lane.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so that was really good and very helpful because it's funny that you say that too. You guys are like, oh, well, we look at you as an artist, but like I cannot design typography-based things to save my life. Like that is not my lane. I'm not even going to go there. Like staying in my watercolor lane here. And like you do just kind of figure it out as you go along. And like you're like what starts to fire you up and be like, oh yeah, this does feel like me. This feels right. And you just kind of like keep going down that path until it just like becomes deeper and deeper cut where it just becomes natural basically.
Right. And if you took your, you know, watercolor paintings, but then you stop doing that because you're like, I need to be a designer and like focus on this, like you're just taking time away from like what you're really good at. And then if you're trying to be too good at everything, you're not going to be excellent at anything.
Yes. Love that. Quotable moment, you guys. Tweet that, whatever you do.
Hey there, fellow stationers. Are you creating custom invitations and still sending a lackluster contract that's hacked together with Google searches and generic templates? We've got you.
We've created a custom stationery contract written for stationers by stationers, and it is lawyer reviewed and approved. #LegalRockstar. The custom stationery contract template covers every stationery snafu, protects you and your client's interests, and sets up an expectation of professionalism. We've combined our previous contracts as well as years of experience to bring you a contract that covers your booty and your biz. Become a put-together pro and breathe a sigh of relief knowing that you have a contract that is easy to understand and avoids confusing legal jargon.
The custom stationery contract template is only $297, which is much less than what you can expect to pay anywhere else, and it's written by two gals who have seen it all.
Spoiler alert, it's us.
It's time to do things right. Go to bizbirthdaybash.com/contract to purchase and download your copy today. And as a special treat, use code PODCAST2020 to get $20 off. And that's podcast all caps 2020 to get $20 off.
Woohoo! Okay, so let's talk more about like the business side of things. So Kitty Meow is retail and wholesale based, correct?
That is correct. You can find Kitty Meow products online on my website. I have an Etsy shop, and you can get them at over 150 stores throughout the United States and Canada.
That is amazing. Okay, so how does your marketing strategy differ for wholesale versus retail? Because you're basically speaking to two different audiences.
Yes. So I have to be honest, I repurpose like a lot of the content and just make, you know, especially with my email marketing, I start off with my wholesale email where I say like, hey, these are some of my best sellers and these are the wholesale prices. But then I'll just take that exact same email, duplicate it, take off the pricing for wholesale. And like my retail people want to know just as well, like what my best sellers are. So, I mean, definitely about working smarter, not harder when it comes to email. But, you know, there is a different process as far as with reaching out to wholesale customers. It is a grind. Like for the first year of launching into wholesale, I mean, I was sending out samples, sending out emails. No one wanted to talk to me. No one wanted to respond to my emails because they didn't know me, and people buy from people they know. And I was just this newbie in the business. And it took a lot of trial and error just to finally get things to stick, so to speak.
Yeah. So with your email outreach for wholesale, like reaching out to stores, obviously that is like the hardest thing ever because 99% of the time you don't hear anything back.
I know. Break your heart.
Pitch emails. Why? I'm just like, just tell me no. It's fine. Like it's so difficult. Do you have any tips or tricks for pitch emails in terms of what to say or things that you've seen like have a good success rate?
Yeah. there's not just like one straight answer. Like you need to do your welcome introduction email and say that you'll follow up in 2 weeks, and they probably won't respond, and that's totally fine. You can cry about it privately. And then you do your follow-up email, and then you add them to an email list, and you can't just like have them on an email list that you don't actually send emails to, which I think a lot of the issue is that you're not showing up continuously in email, and people think, I don't want to bother them, and I feel bad selling, like blah, blah, blah. You cannot have that attitude. You just need to constantly be telling them like what you're up to, what new products, what are your best-selling products. Even if you don't have best-selling products, like make that shit up. Just like, you just need to be constant. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
It's okay.
You just need to be constantly showing up and letting stores know that you're still there, that you're not going anywhere. If you can do a welcome sequence that's automated within your email list, just so they can get to know you a little bit, and it's not a time suck for you to constantly be sending out individual emails to all of these stores. And yeah, I definitely have an email marketing strategy, but it all works together as far as, your email, you going to trade shows, sending samples, showing up on social media, like it all needs to work together cohesively. Like I have stores that have been on my email list for 2 freaking years, and they just decide to buy from me now. Like 2 years. Like that's how many touch points it can take for a store to actually notice you, which is why you need to continue to show up. And yeah, you just got to do it.
I'm the totally like the systems minded one of Cami and I. So I'm so curious, what are you currently using as your email platform?
I use ConvertKit.
Okay.
And I'm tempted to switch to Flowdesk because there's just like so many beautiful layout options. But I mean, I have so many opt-ins and this and that. I mean, I'm not ready to make the jump at this point in my life, but I can be convinced. I don't know.
Cami and I use Flowdesk for like our personal stationery businesses. So Cami Monet and Eliza Ann. And then for Biz Birthday Bash, we use ConvertKit, which we totally love and totally get why people would love, especially if you have a lot of opt-ins, a lot of systematic things going on behind the scenes and automations and things like that. But I do have to say, I'm really enjoying for Eliza Ann now having the like really beautiful emails from Flowdesk.
Don't tell me that.
I know. And they're so easy to make. They're awesome. But yes. Okay. So one of the things that we talked about before is, you had like this huge goal of getting into like, I don't know, 100 stores or something. I can't remember the number. Sorry, bad podcast host. You wanted to get in a lot more stores, and you just like really buckled down on growing your wholesale line. Can you tell us how you set that goal and some of the process of that goal setting and making that happen?
Yes, absolutely. And you are not a bad podcast host because it was 100 stores.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
So last June, I was sitting in a Rachel Hollis Rise personal development conference in, where was I? Minnesota. And, she talks about setting goals and making a roadmap for your goals. And I just work, like my personal development is always based around business because that's how my mind works. But, yeah, so I was in 11 stores last June, and I'm like, I am going to shoot for the freaking stars, and I want to be in 100 stores before the end of 2019. And if I don't get there, if I get, even close, then holy crap, that will still be so amazing. And, at this conference, I kind of worked out my roadmap for how I was going to get there, and then I just went for it, and I shared about it on social media. So I felt like if I put it out there to the world and that people were watching me, that I would hold myself, more accountable to like make that happen. So I wouldn't be embarrassed if I didn't do it.
Do you feel like once you introduced a catalog into your business that you were able to send out to stores, that helped elevate you kind of in their eyes? Because I'm assuming like when you first started out, like a lot of us don't necessarily have a catalog or just haven't had the time to put that together. Do you feel like the response was better when you had something kind of like professionally packaged? I'm just so curious about that element of wholesale itself.
Yeah, so I did have a catalog from the very beginning. Like it was a nicely designed, overpriced catalog. But and I would send a couple mailers here and there and samples but it's just like it's all about numbers. It's all about building your leads list, and the more leads you put out there into the universe, like just your odds are better of someone saying yes. So yeah, I mean, I know that having a catalog is so important. But now times they're different with everything that's going on with the economy. So if you can get on a platform like Fair, where you don't need a paper catalog, you just literally need your product line. So, I mean, it's different because I'm not sure I would mail a catalog to a store right now because, hello, it's kind of like they're closed and that might be rude.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, Fair is so easy to shop from too. Like it just takes out like the extra step sometimes too with the catalog of having to like follow up to order so they can just like look at it and then add it to their cart and order. So it's been definitely nice because I don't have a catalog right now. So for me, Fair has like really, really been a huge asset for me in my business and growing wholesale too. So I don't know about for you if Fair has like been awesome, but I really, really love being on there.
Oh, it's been a game changer for me.
Oh,
And that was like one part of my plan was to get on Fair because they had been rejecting me for, almost a year. And I was just like, no, for once and for all, I am not taking no for an answer. I mean, I got personal emails. I reached out to like 10 people personally on Fair and was like, I need to be on Fair. You will take me.
I love that. The squeaky wheel gets wait, what am I saying? The squeaky wheel gets the grease? No, that's not right. Yes. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad you're on Fair. It is totally a game changer. And I think now they're like way more lenient about their like product or acceptance rate. So I'm sorry you had to go through that the last couple of years.
But it's all part of the process.
I feel like Cami, you have had such amazing success with Fair and how that has shaped the wholesale side of your business. And it's so cool what they've done for that space of kind of like adding the ease of use almost to ordering wholesale instead of having to, write itemized lines on a ordering sheet or things like that. A lot of the more like old school quote unquote methods that you would see.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the wholesale industry is like a little bit more old school. Like they're still like catching up to like online ordering kind of things. So I feel like it's just only going to keep going that direction further and further the more like stores start to accept sites like Fair and all these other ones that are popping up. So maybe catalogs won't be as like, I mean, they're still crucial, but like that on the line item ordering system might not be as important.
Yeah. And, sales reps, they're really not loving Fair. So and I do have sales reps now, and it's just interesting to try to get everyone to work together because like, hello, I want to make money. This is how I make a living and provide for my family. So, I can't not be on Fair just because I have sales reps. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so with that goal of the 100 stores, can you tell us like the roadmap that you laid out to actually put that plan into place?
Yes. So like I touched on earlier, I got smarter about email marketing and just more aggressive with building my leads list, reaching out to more people. I wanted to acquire more sales reps because I had just acquired a company on the West Coast that had a bunch of states and things were really starting to pick up with them. So I'm like, okay, well, if I can just duplicate this with another company, that would be fantastic. I wanted to start signing up for trade shows. So I did one in Brooklyn. I did one in New York City. And then the following year, Atlanta. Just networking and again, getting on Fair, then, sending out more physical mailings with samples. And then I also wanted to get my audience more involved and invested with my designs. So last October, as I was introducing new designs for my 2020 catalog, I was designing a new card every single day, asking people to vote on it, to just give me some insight on whether they thought it would be a good idea to add it to my wholesale catalog. And I don't know, it just got people like excited about designs, it got stores excited about designs, and just getting feedback and putting yourself out there. It was really, really helpful.
Yes, I love that you invited your audience in. Like, I think that can be such a huge pivotal thing too for a business in terms of growing and just like getting people excited about your brand, which is like half the battle of getting the sale is just getting that initial excitement. So I love that this, like, you did this design blitz, basically, just like a daily design. Like, I kind of want to try that. That sounds fun.
Do it. I mean, it was like, oh gosh, it's 10 o'clock at night. I need to get my design out for the day. But I don't know. It just helps you to just crank it out and not overthink a design. I think we can often like do that, overthink it, and oh, it needs to be perfect. I mean, what does that really mean anyway? Just put it out there, see what happens.
Yes, I get hung up on the stupidest things about designs. I'm like, does this need to be this opacity green, or like should I do it a little bit darker? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And I'll send like 2 versions of nearly the exact same card to like 5 people and be like, which one do you think? They're like, there literally isn't a difference. I'm like, oh, there is.
How dare you?
Yeah, and I get so hung up on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, can we just order the card and put it up? Like, so yeah, I drive myself insane with that. But I also work really well under pressure. So I feel like the designing 1 card a day could be like a really fun exercise for a week just to like go for it. Like, I love it. It makes me happy. It sounds good.
I definitely think you should do that, Cami, especially because you have this library of like all this watercolor artwork you've done in the past. So if you're just like coming up with cute little sayings for them or putting them together into like a happy birthday card or whatever, like it could be really, really cute and beneficial.
I literally might do this next week, you guys.
You'll be surprised. People will be like, can I buy this right now? And you'll be like, yes. Yes, you can.
Yes, obviously. You can buy whatever you want.
Cami, I think you should do it like not just a week. I think you should do like 30 days, maybe. I think that would be awesome.
Oh, my Atlanta.
One a day in May with Cami Monet. Oh my gosh. I am afraid of it.
Oh my gosh. I just got sweaty because that sounds so awesome. Oh, okay. All right. I think I'm going to do it, you guys. I think I'm going to challenge myself. 1 a day in May with Cami Monet because it rhymes, and now I have to. And it's the podcast, even though this podcast is coming out at the end of May. So you guys will see what happens. We're doing it. It's happening.
Credit goes to Catherine for that little ditty because that is amazing. Okay, Catherine, I've been sitting here and I'm really curious about like the storage side of wholesale, because I know this is something that I've heard other people say. This is like the most almost surprising element of kind of figuring out where do you put everything, because you have pins, greeting cards, notebooks, pencils, you have all these different things. Is your studio still like home based? Do you have a warehouse where you're putting all of this? Can you give us some insight into what that looks like for you currently?
Yes. So I work out of my home and I have my own studio space. We have a pretty big house, so there's like room to fit all of my paper stuff. But if you go back to my Instagram page or IGTV from the fall, I did like a before and after of my studio space because I had my closet redone. I mean, I had like cards everywhere, not everywhere, but they were not organized. And I have over 150 greeting cards in my collection. Like, if you don't have that stuff in order, you're just set up for failure. So I had closets. I don't know if you get the Office joke. No, California Closets come in and they like redid my entire closet in my office. And I have all these shelves for boxes of my cards. I got these $2 IKEA boxes and I printed the greeting card in a smaller version to put on the front of the box. And that's where I have everything organized by category, by SKU, and, all the witty cards are on one side of the closet. All the sweet cards are on the other side of the closet. I have an area where I have all my shipping supplies and an area for all my napkins, but then not everything fits in there because I just ordered napkins overseas this year. So in my basement, I have like 20 ginormous boxes of cocktail napkins.
Oh my gosh. That's the reality. That's so crazy. Have you ever had anyone come in and help you in the studio in terms of packaging orders, or is that something that you have kind of championed yourself during this?
Yes. So I did have as I was going through this whole closet organization and getting my products in order, I did have a girl work with me, and she would come to my studio, and she was so awesome at helping me get organized and help me package orders. Sometimes I hire people or even my parents just to sleeve the cards. So every greeting card goes in a clear sleeve with an envelope on the inside, and then they're packaged in 6s. So that's like a super easy task that's often just very time consuming. So I have people help me with that. And, right now I'm just trying to run my business as lean as possible. So I have been doing a lot of things myself. And, normally I buy envelopes by the 10,000s, and I don't want to have to make that investment right now. So I'm not packaging as much product in advance just as I get orders. But I try to keep track of inventory online. I use QuickBooks, and even if I give free stuff away, I try to make sure that it is reflected within my QuickBooks inventory, just because it's just with so much stuff, it can totally get away from you if you're not keeping proper track of what products you have in stock, what stuff you're sending out, giving away, when you get new stuff in. It's just like, it's a lot. But it took me so long to put my big girl pants on and get organized.
Yeah.
I think that's most of us for sure. Because at the beginning, when you're just trying to figure it all out, you're just flying by the seat of your pants until I feel like you hit a point.
You hit rock bottom.
You just like hit the overwhelm. And it's not even that it's like rock bottom. You just hit the point where like, this is no longer working.
Yeah.
And something's got to give, something's got to change. And what's that going to be? And so I definitely plan on going back and watching that IGTV you said, where you like do the closet clean out, because I love like organization and all that stuff too. And I'm so curious to see the transformation and the change that you made. But we can switch away a little bit from that in terms of like storage for all of your products. And I'd love to talk a little bit about like big mistakes you've made.
Hey guys, we just wanted to hop in and talk about one of our amazing resources, the A to Z directory. All of us have thought at some point, how did she do that, or how did she make that? And maybe you don't know where to start or how the heck to produce this amazing product you've dreamt up.
Well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, you guys, seriously. So it's built in the form of a yearly membership, and it's your one-stop shop for finding suppliers and vendors for all the things. Literally where to print everything from custom invitations, greeting cards, mugs, koozies, acrylic printing, letterpress, custom ribbon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it literally goes from A to Z. From acrylic printers to zipper pouches, we have it in the A to Z directory.
We want to help all of you search less and create more with this list of 300 plus vendors and suppliers. Don't worry, they're very organized. It's not going to be overwhelming and confusing when you join. And this membership also includes access to a private Facebook community. It's incredibly active and involved. And if you need a question answered fast, that is definitely the place to go.
Yeah, our Facebook group really is the best. You guys, everyone is so helpful in there. And we're in there too, answering questions you guys might have. So it's a great way to get access to us and ask us things without sliding into our DMs. So we're more likely to answer you in the Facebook group, just saying. Anyway, also in the Facebook group, this is new for 2020 and we're really excited about it. We are hosting monthly Power Hour Q&A sessions that are live, and these are only available to our A to Z directory members. So you can hop in with us live and ask us all your burning questions in real time and just hang out with us every month. And we do these at different times so you can actually be there live, and the replays are always available in the Facebook group for members.
This resource is priced at $147 a year, which honestly is extremely affordable and is full of so many benefits, such as exclusive vendor coupons for members only. And we would love to have you guys join. Seriously, it's kind of like our family and our tribe. So visit bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to sign up today and use coupon code podcast2020 to receive $20 off your first year. That's podcast, all caps, 2020 for $20 off your first year.
We can't wait to see you in the Facebook group.
Cami wrote a really good question, like, what about mistakes? And do you have learning opportunities you'd like to share with the audience?
Oh gosh, my whole life is one big mistake. I'm just like learning so many nuggets by my mistakes every day. I don't know, but something as simple as, acquiring sales reps, and then you need to put together these product kits for them, but you don't think about it in advance. And then you buy this box, or you don't get the right shipping box, and then you're spending like $20 just to ship the box when you have, 12 reps that you need to send all these products to individually. So, but these are all things that you learn as you go, and you need to make the mistake to actually get better. Like my last wholesale catalog, I sent the wrong file to print. And just like thousands of dollars in wholesale catalogs, and like some of the SKUs were incorrect. And I had a sales rep point it out to me. I look like a total dum-dum, but
No.
I'll never make that mistake again.
Oh my gosh. There's nothing worse than sending the wrong file to print. That's just like the worst.
Or like right before I sent that catalog to print, I had hired a photographer at a lower price point trying to save some money. And then when I got the photos back, knowing that I had to send this catalog to print on a deadline, they were awful. So I spent the entire weekend just trying to reshoot product photos myself, and then edit them and then put them to the catalog. And that's probably why the wrong one was sent to print. And I just know that I'll never make those mistakes again, trying to save a couple bucks, because my time is more valuable than all that. But yeah, like I'm totally that business owner who is transparent about my mistakes. I never want to come off like I have it all together or that I have all the answers, because I do not. I'm like struggling every single day, just trying to do my best, like all of us. And yeah, I think it's important that we own our messes and turn it into a message and help each other.
Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. Okay, so obviously we've all made mistakes in our business, and it sucks. And I know obviously we have the same virtual assistant. So can you talk about like how bringing in, like you've talked about how you didn't have a great photographer. Can you talk about like your team, and do you have a team or people that you work with that have kind of helped you overcome any mistakes in your business or not making mistakes?
Oh yeah, it just goes to, when we talked earlier about like staying in your lane and knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at, and just knowing that you cannot do it all. So you need to have people that you trust that, excel in that area that maybe you are not the best in, to help you. And, I probably could design my own website, but I don't want to, and I don't want to spend my time doing that. So I have an awesome web designer that just totally takes care of that all for me. And to me, it's worth the investment. Or, it's something as simple as applying for a trademark for the Kitty Meow name. Like I probably could go Google that and figure it out on my own, but I don't have time to do that. And I don't want to make mistakes with that kind of stuff. So, I have a creative lawyer that I specifically use. And just like knowing that you can't do it all, that you need people. Just because you can do it all doesn't mean you should do it all. And you should be able to like delegate tasks or just eliminate them or automate them. All about the automating too.
Okay. Yeah. So what you're saying about like delegating, automating, or eliminating, all those things are so good. And I think that's definitely something we get hung up on, is like, we have to do it all ourselves. And you just try to bootstrap everything. And like there, to a point, like when you're first starting out, like that is totally a great way to like get going and get started. But like you reach a plateau where you truly can't grow unless you start to like reach out for people who are better than you at certain things and like get that help. Get that website outsourced or whatever you need to do, because you have to focus on the things that only you can do. And I think we do get hung up on like, I don't want to spend money because I'll save money if I just do it myself. But like, you're so right in terms of like your time is worth so much more than the money you spend to actually get that thing done.
Amen, sister. Amen.
Oh yeah.
Amen. All right. Switching gears a little bit. Let's talk about the craziness of COVID-19, because business plans for a lot of people have totally shifted. And you've already kind of hinted towards this, Catherine, earlier. You're talking about the economy. You're talking about how weddings have been postponed. What does this look like for you right now with Kitty Meow in terms of how you're pivoting, and how are you kind of strategizing for the rest of 2020 to maintain sales or keep sales up or keep your business thriving in a season that's really strange and weird?
Yes. So weird. That's the only way I can like ever describe it to people. Like things are just weird. But I don't know, like something that has always weighed heavy on my heart is serving, other creatives, helping, educating them. But I always kind of had this imposter syndrome feeling where I didn't feel like I, had walked the walk long enough to where I could talk the talk. And since everything going on and in the beginning, business, especially wholesale, shut down for a little bit, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. I'm going to, put what I know out into the world. I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. And, I show up daily on my Instagram live every day at 10 a.m. Central for 10 minutes just to like serve and connect and freaking have fun. And I am honestly this huge introvert, but I have never felt so freaking alive in my life. And, I still feel that imposter syndrome, but I've decided I'm not going to care. I'm not going to care what other people think. Like, I feel good. I feel like I'm letting people get to know me, to fall in love with me, to get to know the Kitty Meow brand. And in doing so, like, I have gotten a lot more sales. And, I make an effort to still connect and love on my wholesale clients. And, I'm developing new relationships with other stationery designers and, even doing some one-on-one coaching and mentoring. And I've created a wholesale group for paper people that I'm sharing what I know. And I don't know, it's so weird and it's so outside my comfort zone, but I just love it so much. And had this situation with COVID-19 not have happened, I would have had the courage or even the time to make that jump in my business with something that I just like always felt so passionate about, but was too scared to act on.
I love that. I feel like this has pushed some creatives to do things that they kind of had on the back burner for a long time, or to just do things out of their comfort zone because they're like, what the heck? I mean, like, my business is already tanked, quote unquote, in a way that I could have never like predicted this year. So like, screw it. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try something new. Like, I know one of my friends who's finally working on her collection invitation suites, and she had wanted to do it for forever. And she was like, weirdly enough, this gave me like the space that I needed to actually sit down and get this done. Because otherwise I just would have been in the studio, pumping out work, pumping out invitations, working with my current clients. And so I like that almost silver lining for people for what you've done, of shifting, of pivoting a little bit, of figuring out how can I connect with others in a positive way right now, especially when things can feel really like negative or dark, especially if you let yourself get like sucked into the news and stuff, which I know I have. So I love hearing what you're doing. Where can people find, like, are you sharing publicly like what that wholesale group is if people wanted to join you there?
Yes. No, it's a secret.
It's a secret
undercover Fight Club group. No, it's just facebook.com/groups/wholesale for paper people.
Okay.
But
be joining it now. Okay.
I'll review your application and see if
I'll put the secret password. It's don't talk about Fight Club. Okay. Got it. That's awesome. I love that. So you're like kind of diving into more educational resources and seeing where that takes you, because I mean, it's so true though. We all like need help, and it's nice when business owners are willing to share and, just kind of like put that hand down to like give them that hand up to like be like, oh yeah, I'll lift you up with this. Here's what I've learned. We can all like grow from this together, because it only strengthens our industry when we're all doing good as business owners. So I love that mindset that you have.
Yeah. And you ladies are, I mean, exactly like that. And that's like what it is all about. I did not get where I am without the help of other people. So that just inspires me to want to help anyone I can, because we are just so much better when we, work together and work as a community and not catfishing people, as you ladies like to say, which I totally love that episode. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm like, oh my goodness, people do this? That's insane. Oh,
I know.
Yes.
It's wild. We got some really funny DMs about that message or that podcast. So. Oh man. Yeah.
Epic.
That's a good one.
Epic.
Okay, so can you also, we have lots of people in our audience with the product business wanting to get started in wholesale, not really sure where to start, what to do. Can you just give some like tips and tricks or advice for businesses wanting to get started in wholesale? Just some like practical, this is what you need to be doing kind of things?
Yes. You need to focus in on like what your brand is. That's where I just struggled so much in the beginning. I didn't have a brand. I just had these like random designs, and, you need to have a cohesive collection. You need to stand for something. There needs to be a thought process behind your work and what you do. You need to be able to just like explain in a matter of a couple sentences what your collection is and who it's for and who it serves. And I mean, because that's how you're going to have a brand that people recognize. And it's just such a weird industry where there's so many products and so many people. And while there is room for everybody, you need to make yourself stand out from the crowd and surround yourself with people who are already doing it. There's power in proximity, and don't be afraid to reach out to someone you admire, because I promise you, like, while you think they're the freaking bee's knees of the paper world, they're over there with their own self-doubt, thinking that they're not making a difference. And, if you were to reach out to them, I bet it would just make their whole freaking year, knowing that, like, people see them and people want to give back. And I know people want to help other people. And if they don't, then they're not your people. So don't hang out with them. But, just do it. Go for it. And, sometimes you don't always have the answers, but refine as you go and be open to feedback. But know that sometimes feedback is just one particular person's opinion, and you can't always take that to heart. But if you're getting the same feedback over and over again from multiple people, multiple stores, then you need to understand that there's a disconnect somewhere within your product line, and you should revisit it and know that sometimes failure is for you, though you have the opportunity to change. And that's the best part about us running our own businesses, is that we have that freedom to do whatever the heck we want.
Yes, love that so much. Cami actually had an experience getting feedback about one of her tea towels that actually spurred her to like make a really big business decision. And I don't want to tell the story for her.
Well, I want to hear it.
She's talked about it a little bit, so I'll let her tell it.
Oh yeah, so Catherine, I got this horrible review on Fair. I had just introduced tea towels for wholesale because I was like just kind of testing the waters, and even though my profit margin wasn't good for wholesale, I was just wanted to see if I could get buyers for it. So I was like, okay, this is just to see. And then the first shop that ordered like 100 tea towels from me left me a review on Fair, like a scathing review, being like, these are the worst things I've ever received. Like, this is like a Kleenex. How dare they? They're like, the artwork is so beautiful, but this is literally like a sheet of tissue paper. And I was like, that is it, because I had already been thinking about working with a new vendor for tea towels, but it was going to be a huge initial upfront investment. And like, I literally like pulled the trigger on buying my huge like order of tea towels like the hour after that happened, and like reached out and was like, I'm sending you all new tea towels if you can change the review. And he did, and they loved the new ones, and it all worked out. But literally just that one guy's opinion, because I knew deep down it wasn't like the best quality product I could produce too. So like hearing it from someone else was just like the validation I needed to like, okay, make the decision to spend the money. It's going to be worth it. You can't have crappy products under your brand name that's supposed to be like a high-end stationery brand. Like,
yes, that is
so
true.
Anyway, that one opinion of that like review totally got me. But his review was worth a lot of weight because it was a store. It was affecting my fare. Like it was,
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, that's like definitely an situation where you would be like, okay, it's not just like opinion based, it's like fact.
Yeah, it is fact now. It's not just, I was like, I'm not sure if I really like these. And also I didn't ever see them because I drop shipped them. So I was like, I'm not even really sure what I'm sending these people. And yeah, it was a bad move all around, but we fixed that and now our things are great. So sometimes you just gotta like own your mistakes and spend the money. Like, I mean, those are two things you don't really think about in business, but like you really do have to spend the money sometimes if you want to make the money.
And yes, that is an awesome point, especially with wholesale. If you want to make the money, you need to spend the money. You need to get your products for as low as a price point as you can. And sometimes that means like buying them in large quantities and volume. And that's a little scary because you're like, oh, I don't know if these are going to sell, but I mean, I was making freaking cocktail napkins here in the US and literally just giving them away at the end of the day. And yeah, but I knew that if I wanted to actually sell these and make money, that I would have to put up the investment. And just like your tea towels, sometimes you know what you need to do, but it just takes you a while to actually get there.
I think that is one of the scariest things of wholesale is just like ordering like the huge quantity to make the margins work. Like,
I know. You're like, ah,
you're like, oh,
frightening.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm fairly conservative with like what I order at first, just to like test the waters and like see. Like I usually start with like 100. I know with like overseas, it's like you got to order like thousands and thousands, but I don't have anything I'm ordering overseas currently. Almost did tea towels at the overseas, but then I got really nervous. So
and I'm not saying like when you start out in wholesale, you should order large quantities of crap, just to get you started. No, please don't do that. Definitely. Lord, no. You do need to test it, but yeah.
Lots of good lessons learned for sure. And I'm so glad that we got to share all of them with our audience. Cami, is there anything else that we need to ask Catherine before we kind of wrap everything up?
I think that's it. I think we covered a lot in this episode. Like there's a lot of good nuggets in here. So I'm excited for everyone to hear it.
This was fun.
Yay!
So Catherine, are you getting ready then to jump on Instagram Live?
I am. And I'm having a guest on today. She is a wedding planner in Florida. And I know her from one of my other business coaching groups. And yeah, I'm just trying new things and talking about random stuff, inviting people on. If you ever want to come on with me, like, please, it would be so much fun. But you probably do a lot of talking in one day.
I mean, we just talk to each other and my cat.
An embarrassing amount. It's so funny.
That is so cool. Okay, so Catherine, where can everyone find you on Instagram so they can go watch all your lives and hang out with you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Kitty Meow Boutique, which is the same as my Facebook and my website. And yeah, not a lot of cats there, but a lot of craziness.
I know. See, you threw me off with the Kitty Meow, and it got me all excited. The crazy cat lady. Like, do you get people ever messaging you being like, "Do you have cat stuff?" I'm just curious.
Yes, and I do have one Christmas cat card, but and a Tiger King inspired friendship card, but there's not a cat on there. It's more like a Carol Baskin tribute.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, I'm just the weird cat, not my designs.
I love it. That makes me so happy though. So in terms of a little bit of just like housekeeping for our listeners, if you guys are enjoying the Biz Bash podcast, please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. We love reading what you guys have written, and the more ratings and reviews we get, the more likely other creatives and people who need this podcast are able to find us. And then if you have any questions from what you heard today, we do Q and Cake episodes every 5 episodes where we answer questions from our audience. So you guys can head to bizbirthdaybash.com/Q and Cake if you want to submit questions there. But otherwise, Catherine, we are so happy that you got to join us today. And it was just so wonderful sitting down with you for this past hour and hearing all about your business and just how you have really grown it and shaped it these past years. Definitely super inspiring. I'm feeling super inspired and motivated right now, and I'm just excited.
Yeah, I mean, I got to go design 30 greeting cards in a month. So I got to, thanks a lot for putting that on me. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you guys have an awesome week.
Thank you, ladies, so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
Bye.
Bye.